letters, H-O-W. How, okay? How are we going to get maximum value for the next hour? Here's the 3 rules for success. Rule number 1, H, honesty. I have no idea why that just happened. No? Anyone know how laptops work? How bizarre. No? Let me try something else. Now, right, great. Rules for success. 3 very important rules. H stands for honesty. If anyone here today hears anything that they've seen a million times before, just say, can we just skip that and move on, okay? If there's anything you don't understand, raise your hand, throw something at me, ask questions. If there's something you don't believe in, you don't think works in your company, let me know. So, honesty really, really important. Is that okay? Golden rule number 1. Equally, if I hear any objection to something, you know, push back on something that I've said, we'll have a discussion about it, I'll convince you you're wrong, and we'll move on. Is that okay? So, O, openness of mind. You've had 2 quite long days, loads of stuff going on, loads of really good and valuable stuff so far, but I do appreciate that many of you have come into the room today, you've glanced at the agenda, not quite sure what you're going to get. All I'd like you to do, please, for the next hour is just open your minds to a world of possibilities, okay? And the final one, W, willingness to learn. Metaphorically, most people sit there with their arms folded in life, think, you know, what can this guy teach us we don't already know? I accept that, but I will try to convince you otherwise in the next 59 minutes or so. Okay, ladies, question just for the ladies for a moment. Forgive me a minute, gentlemen. Your significant other comes back one day with a bunch of flowers, okay? Let's say it's a few tulips, a few carnations, a few roses, and on the cellophane wrapping, it's got the word Texaco $2.99. What's wrong with the gift, ladies, that you just received?
Flowers.
Sorry?
He brought me flowers.
Okay, it might be a surprise, but what's wrong with Texaco $2.99?
Cheap.
Cheap?
Value for money.
I wasn't asking the guys, ladies, what's wrong with the flowers that your significant others brought you back? You know, it's a decent bunch of flowers, right? Same flowers you buy in any flower shop. But what's wrong with this particular bunch of flowers?
Last minute.
Nothing.
Last minute, exactly. No thought process, right? So, with that in mind, let's just talk very briefly about belief systems, because unless we conquer this little bit, we're not going to get good value for the rest of the presentation. So, one thing we know about belief systems is you can't change them. So if, thinking about 2019, all the great stuff we've heard so far, you get this bit right, you will conquer your world. If you don't, you'll set yourself back 10 years. People's belief systems are as they are, and they come from a whole raft of different experiences, some of which we'll talk about. I'd like to ask you all a question. This is very interactive, by the way. If you've not heard me speak before, I tend to get people on their feet doing different things, so you will be asked to participate. And just by way of a show of hands, do I have somebody brave enough to come and help me with the next part of the presentation? Just raise your hand for me. Let's just do a little group exercise. Early in the morning. So without knocking the person sitting next to you, probably out in front of you, just stick your arm out horizontally, just in front of you, okay? And now just copy me. Raise your arm a few inches, a few more, just keep going. A couple more times. Stretch into the ceilings now. Great, look around. When I ask for a volunteer, that's what you do, okay? Just so we're clear. Okay, belief systems. I've got a question for you. How many of you, when you were born, could walk? Raise your hand. How about talk? Swim? Ride a bicycle? How many of you in this room were super successful at what you do when you were born? No takers? Okay, here's the first little obstacle I think we have to try and overcome. It is my belief, I haven't met any of you yet, I know a few of the guys, but I haven't met any of you yet. Here's one thing I do know about you. Every single person in this room was super successful, whatever they chose to do, when they were born. And here's why I know that. I've watched everyone walk into this room. I've watched you engage in a conversation. So you have the natural ability to do those things that a moment ago you didn't think you could do when you were born. Would that be fair? But 2 things happened. 2 things always have to happen for you to take natural ability and turn it into a learned skill. The first step, because we don't have time to ask too many questions, is that someone had to show you. That's what this 2-day event is all about. And the second one, which is very much down to you guys and ladies, is you take what you've been shown and you practice and practice and practice until you get it right. Would that be fair? Now, it just so happens that some of those things that you now take for granted, like driving a car, you just did over and over again. We've heard already from Owen that you make a few mistakes, but that's okay because you desire to do something, so you're prepared to take the steps, make the mistakes, pick yourself up off the floor, dust yourself down, and off you go again. You just keep doing it until you become expert at it. Would that be fair?